Hey, welcome back to New England Fire Cooking. I'm Aaron Higgins, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make some awesome stuffed manicotti or manicotti on the smoker. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. You got some Wagyu brisket, some hot Italian sausage. Let's get to the grilling. So here I have some hot Italian sausage, and this is a 1 pound package, and I'm running my Blackstone right around medium heat right now. And what I'm doing is I'm just pulling apart this brick of hot Italian sausage and just tossing it right onto this flat top. We're going to get a nice brown on it, and then we're going to set it aside. And to get a good browning on this, what I'm doing is I'm just taking my spatula and just flipping this around, moving it around, making sure that all sides of this sausage gets a little bit of browning on it. And then I'm just going to set it in a bowl and let it get cool. And this right here is exactly what I want. I'm going to scoop this up, set it aside, and then kill the heat on this Blackstone. Next, I'm going to finely shred 2/3 of a cup of pecorino cheese. Next, I'm going to finely dice up these 2 thick slices of Snake River Farms American Gold Grade Wagyu brisket. Best tasting brisket I've ever cooked. I'll put a link to them in the description. Now take your manicotti pasta, and we're going to lightly boil them for about 6 minutes. You don't want to cook them all the way. You want to cook them about halfway, and then we'll be ready to stuff them. And after 6 minutes at a boil, this pasta should be slightly al dente, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to take this slotted spoon, and I'm going to get the pasta out of the boiling water. I'm going to set it on a plate. I'm just going to let it hang out for a minute while we make our filling. Now in a big mixing bowl, what I have here is I have my hot Italian sausage. I'm going to get all that in there, and then I've got my chopped up Wagyu brisket from Snake River Farms, and that was some leftover slices. And here I have the pecorino. We're going to put that right in. Toss that aside, and now I'm going to kind of eyeball this cheese. And what I like to do is I'm using Galbani whole milk ricotta, and I add a little bit, I mix it all in there, and I kind of see what my consistency is like. Keep in mind that I only have so much meat, so I don't want to overdo it with the cheese. I can always add more cheese if I'd like. So once I got all the meat and the cheese well incorporated, I decided that I needed a little more cheese. So I added a little bit more, and I'm going to give it another thorough mix, and after that, we'll be ready to stuff the pasta. So here I have 2 aluminum foil pans, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil, and I'm going to put a good dose of that right in the middle of the pan. Next, I have some carbone tomato basil pasta sauce, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a small dose of this to the bottom of the pan along with this olive oil. And I always do this. It helps prevent the pasta from sticking. Use whatever pasta sauce you'd like. Just when you add it in there, just spread it around with that olive oil and just kind of coat the bottom of the pan with it a little bit. So next, I'm going to take this manicotti pasta and I'm going to begin stuffing it with the cheese and meat filling. And I'm going to use a smaller spoon to do this. Take your time. Slow and steady wins the race here, especially because sometimes your pasta shells can crack or split during the boil while they're cooking initially. So slow and steady wins the race here. It's totally worth it in the long run. So as you can see here, I've got all my pastas arranged in these trays. A couple of them split, but they weren't completely unusable. So the next thing I want to do is sauce these bad boys up. And I'm going to use more of this carbone tomato basil pasta sauce. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of just going right down the middle. I'm leaving about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of pasta exposed at either end. Some people really like to bathe theirs in pasta sauce, and that's just fine. Get creative with it. Make it how you like it. Use this recipe as a baseline. I'm going to layer this pasta sauce right on. Then we're going to top it with some fresh mozzarella cheese. So I finally grated up some fresh mozzarella cheese, and what I'm doing is I'm just sprinkling it over the top of this manicotti. If you don't have any fresh mozzarella on hand, you can use the shredded stuff that you can get in the bag from the grocery store. That's just fine. I prefer the fresh stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to generously sprinkle this over the top of this pasta sauce and these pastas, and then we're going to be ready for the smoker. Got the Traeger fired up right at 350 degrees, and that's how we're going to be cooking this manicotti. Okay, so I set these trays of manicotti right in the dead center of this Traeger Pro 34, running at 350 degrees using pecan pellets. I'm going to get it closed, come back after 30 minutes, and we should be ready to go. So after 30 minutes, we're going to open up this Traeger, and we're going to take a look at what we have here, and this looks absolutely fantastic. That cheese is getting nice and melty. You can see how the filling is starting to melt and come together. It smells absolutely amazing. Now it's time to pull these manicotti off and taste them. So of course you want to garnish this manicotti, and what I'm doing is I'm just sprinkling over some chopped Italian parsley just to give it some color, a little extra flavor, and that looks great. Okay, so I got this stuffed manicotti here. Cut it up into some bite-sized pieces. As you can see, it's cheesy, it's meaty, it's absolutely phenomenal looking. It smells even better. We got hot Italian sausage on the Blackstone. Can't say enough good things about the Blackstone. Only it's made in Voyage, but so far I'm really, really impressed by it. And Traeger Pro 34, it always shows up and it always delivers those good, consistent, repeatable results every single time. It's not the ironwood, it's not the Timberline or anything fancy like that, but let me tell you, man, it gets the job done. It just shows up and works. I'm gonna put links to all those in the description, Blackstone and Traeger. If you click on those, that helps this channel out big time. We'd appreciate that. And without further ado, I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna see how this hot Italian sausage and Snake River Farms Wagyu brisket that I used in this. That was a leftover brisket from Snake River Farms, by the way. I had a couple pieces left and I decided to use it in this. And I'll leave a link to them in the description as well. Snake River Farms absolutely knocks it out of the park every single time. But look at that. Look at that bite. That looks absolutely fantastic. I got some fighting birds. So here I go. Wow, that is fantastic. That is perfect. Everything about that. Well, we haven't done a lot of Italian food on this channel. That's about to change. This is absolutely fantastic. This is, I can only imagine what lasagna would be like using something like that. Oh my God. This is really, really good, you guys. You have to give this a shot. And more importantly, and no pun intended, all your paisans have to give this a shot too. Check that out. Look at that. That is absolutely awesome. It's cheesy. It's meaty. Man. Talk about stick to your ribs. It's not Federal Hill. This is not the Hill. We are not the Hill. But this is pretty freaking awesome, guys. You're definitely going to want to give this a try. If you like what you see here and you like what we're doing on this channel, please give us a subscribe. Check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Leave your comments in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you next time. And alive. This is just absolutely awesome. Bon appetit. Woo. Man. That's just, this is just a, speechless. I'm speechless.